Hello, you've caught me hosting this week's Friday feature.
Because Ash is busy cooking up devious Halloween challenges, you see, and was all like, Rob, I don't have time for a list video this week because I'm being all evil. Can you do it? And make sure it's horror related? And I was like, yes, of course, leave it with me.
But little does Ash know that now I'm in here, my safe space. Nothing can stop me making a video all about Christmas and Skyrim and Metal Gear Solid and Final Fantasy. Oh, make it horror related! Oh, make it horror related!
I got right when I thought I was untouchable and alone. Just like horror games do. You know, those times when you're at a save point, or at a quiet part of the game where you're not expecting to get done by a jump scare.
You're having a breather, enjoying the sense of security into which you have falsely been lulled.
And then, from nowhere, bam, Scare Town. With that in mind, here are 6 safe spaces in horror games where you absolutely 100% won't be killed.
And if you didn't catch the sarcasm there, you will. You will be killed.
Into the yawning chasm of safety.
The first place you might think you're nice and safe is inside the air vents of Alien Isolation. Mainly because when Creative Assembly's horror masterpiece released in 2014, we'd all spent years being conditioned by the likes of Metal Gear Solid, Deus Ex Human Revolution, and pretty much every stealth game in existence into thinking air vents were basically glorified pause screens, and that cocooned within their tight metal embrace, you could wait indefinitely, either for guards to completely forget about your existence, or until such time as you plucked up the courage to emerge like a brave protagonist butterfly and continue on your quest.
I mean, you know, I like to stretch when I'm in a video game air vent, you know. Give myself a little scratch.
Heck, I've even gone and made myself a sandwich while camped inside an air vent, my self-styled chrysalis of cowardice. So imagine my dismay as I'm hiding from the xenomorph in Alien Isolation, when all of a sudden...
What's it? What's it? You were so on fire! You were so on fire!
Oh, for crying out loud, I knew I should have put mayo in it.
Yeah, it turns out the xenomorph likes to use the air vents as well, and that you're not safe in them at all. I should have known, really, this being a video game inspired by the style and tone of Ridley Scott's 1979 sci-fi masterpiece Alien, a film featuring an iconic sequence where the eponymous E.T. hunts down one of the crew inside an air vent. Seriously, and I call myself a fan.
Well, yes, I do, but then I call myself an even bigger fan of hiding from scary things in safe places, so, you know.
Video games have never been the same since. Well played, Alien Isolation. Well played.
I'm the boss! I'm the boss!
Now, when you're a child and you're playing hide and seek, where's the first place you go?
Into a cupboard, of course.
It's safe and dark and warm and nothing can get you, until your sibling finds you easily after 3 minutes, obviously, but that's not the point.
The point is, cupboards and wardrobes and underneath beds, you know, these are places that feel safe. And in video games, they're places that are pretty much shorthand for safe.
Like one of the many unspoken rules of video games that over time have just become absorbed into the fabric of the medium. Enemies not being able to find you in cupboards is to video games what gravity is to the real world. You know, it's a law of video game physics. So when Outlast, to give just one example, decided it would include enemies that, shock horror, opened cupboard doors while looking for you.
Is he outside?
Yep.
What, outside this? What is that?
He's opened the
He's
cupboard
opened
next
the
to
thing,
you.
dude.
I was going to open this one next.
What am I going to do?
You could just got. Maybe he won't open this one.
It just felt unnatural, as well as unfair.
So what if we clumsily hid inside in obvious view of our pursuer? The video game cupboard is sacrosanct, a place for protagonists only. Until it just wasn't anymore. To emphasise just how unsafe cupboards are in the world of Outlast, The game's Whistleblower expansion features an entire scripted sequence triggered by you hiding in one. In you go, and then over comes the Groom, a deranged serial killer who proceeds to drag you into his grisly murder den, with you now trapped inside the one thing that was supposed to shield you from harm.
It just makes me feel violated.
A running theme for this video will be video games lulling you into a false sense of security, which is difficult to do in horror games, let's be honest, because in a genre stacked with jump scares and gore, we've constantly got our guards up.
Still, there are visual and audio cues that you eventually learn mean everything is okay.
The safe room music in Resident Evil, for instance, a calming lullaby that says, relax, save your game, tweak your inventory, there are no monsters here. Then you've got areas of the game you've cleared of nasties, sometimes hours of gameplay ago, and have since been running through back and forth on your way to solve puzzles and push the story forward. Areas that when you first entered them were fresh and terrifying and full of zombies, but that after a while become empty, familiar, almost comforting.
And that is when Resident Evil 3 strikes.
Like all the best jump scares, there is no warning on this one. You've been down these stairs countless times before. You're on your way to a safe room. No music, no zombies, just footsteps echoing through sterile, empty, safe space. And then...
Wow. Okay, that's literally so quick and unexpected, I cannot even process my reaction fast enough to scream.
We should have known. You're never safe in Resident Evil, especially when you think you are.
Our next entry doesn't technically take place in a horror game, but it was such an unexpected invasion of a definite safe space that I just had to include it.
The world of The Last of Us Part 2 is as dangerous as it is beautiful. You're permanently on edge, alert, waiting for an infected or another survivor to snap the tripwires of your heightened senses. Battles are short and brutal and often survived thanks to dumb luck. As such, you're always expecting an attack. Apart from in one scenario. A place where you can't possibly be attacked because, well, that's just not how the game works. We're talking here about workbenches, places where Ellie can fiddle about with her weapons, crafting new bits and upgrading others. It would be a menu screen in a game less obsessed with constantly pushing the level of detail above and beyond what is necessary, and that's how The Last of Us Part 2 catches us with our pants down. The game breaks a rule it hasn't set, but that the developers know is one players will have erected in their own heads. And that's when Ellie gets ambushed while at a workbench.
I got her! We're not going back, understand?
You can't do that!
This didn't happen. It couldn't happen, and yet here it is happening, which is why our reaction was a mixture of shock, fear, and incredulity that looked and sounded a bit like this. The best thing about this, however, is that because this is The Last of Us Part 2, and they've thought of all of this, you can set your own ambush once you know they're coming. The ambushers become the ambushees, and the results are as gloriously splatty and satisfying as you'd expect. Playing this section again, it should have been obvious really. Look at this place, it's lived in, there's a human presence. It's not a crumbling ruin like much of the rest of the game. Had we been paying attention, maybe the ambush wouldn't have been such a shock after all.
To be fair, the healthy-looking plants should have been a dead giveaway.
We're back to Capcom's Tricksy Tricks next, and we're travelling even further back in time than Resi 3, all the way back to the time of the dinosaurs, in 1999, with Dino Crisis on PS1. Not long into the game, after you've just got to grips with the Velociraptor-infested corridors and learned that rooms equals safe, and the spaces between the rooms equals dinosaurs, you find yourself here.
Definitely just a boring office room with a massive single pane very breakable looking glass window, almost exactly the same size as a T-Rex head in a game called Dino Crisis. Yeah, can't imagine anything is going to Of course.
It's got to be one of the biggest jump scares in gaming history, and nowadays, sure, it's obvious as soon as you come in here what's going to come crashing through the window. But back in the olden days, in 1999, you know, video gaming's Cretaceous period before the great CD-ROM mass extinction, things were simpler. If you went into a room with nothing in it and no music, that meant you were fine. Until this now iconic T-Rex burst into all of our lives and changed quiet, nondescript video game office rooms forever. Thank you, T-Rex, for that. Our final entry is perhaps the naughtiest and most surprising of all. The release of Dead by Daylight's Sadako Rising expansion earlier this year allows you to play as Sadaka Yamamura, the iconically horrifying antagonist of the Ring franchise. And again, we probably should have seen this one coming had we stopped to think about the source material for more than 1 minute. You know, Sadako is a monster who gets you through your TV. Be that as it may, we were not prepared to be attacked while casually perusing the menu screen. You know, it's just rude. I hate to be interrupted when I'm making my choices.
Do you know what you'd like to order yet?
I am looking. Thank you.
And so then, when you're least suspecting it, I mean, it is scary, isn't it? Scary enough that we did a big swear when she first did her party trick.
It is absolutely unacceptable. Clever and inventive and unacceptable.
And if I'm honest with you, I just don't play as Sadako anymore because of this. And only because of this. Definitely only this. Not because she's quite an advanced character and I suck at the game. Seriously though, you'd think you'd be safe in the menu screen, wouldn't you? So there you are, 6 safe spaces in horror games where you absolutely won't be killed, but will because horror. If you can think of any more examples that should have made this list, let us know in the comments. Give us a like if you've enjoyed the video, and subscribe and hit the notification bell if you haven't already done so, to make sure you are always up to date with everything from the world of PlayStation. Thanks for watching.
PlayStation